Welcome. This is a guide, basically, an online competitive Pokemon guide on how you would use Cynthia's actual Elite Four champion team against other people. Right here, that was loud. Right here I got my special guest, the freaking Pokemon master, compared to me, Antoine. Chef Antoine himself from the cult classic Frankenmag video.
What's up, everybody? I gotta say, darn good to be back. That's for sure.
It's been too long. Glad to have you back, man.
Glad to be here. Thank you for coming to me for help with Pokemon. I recently got back into Pokemon just about when Gen 8 launched, and I love it. It's fun stuff. Regarding Cynthia's team, though, Cynthia has some pretty decent Pokemon in general. But unfortunately, I want to make a disclaimer. You're not going to be able to use this team in Gen 8 because some of the Pokemon are just illegal. So right now we're in a team that's for Gen 7, anything goes. So I can, flesh out all kinds of different options for this team without, Showdown telling me something's illegal. What I'm going to do with Ethan here is we're going to create different... I guess we're just really, like I said, going to flesh out this team. So depending on where you want to use this team, which generation competitive that you want to use it, you'll know how to do it. That's going to be our job here today. So if you want to use it in Gen 4 Ubers, because Garchomp is an Uber, we'll walk you guys through a way that you can make that happen. Or if you wanted to just use, go back to previous gen, back in Gen 7 where everything else is legal, we can do that too. And then you guys will be able, after watching this video, to figure out anything else in between. Give you a good idea on how to get going. So, without further ado, I will start us off with Spiritomb. So, Spiritomb's in PU. That's okay, though. Spiritomb's kind of cool, because he has pressure, and you can, although he kind of lacks decent recovery, you can pressure stall people. That's, the biggest thing that I see when I see a Spiritomb, is he's about to stall me, because he gets, right off the bat, he'll get stuff like Will-O-Wisp. He can get Pain Split for a little bit of... That's ominous wind. Excuse me. I can't spell. Pain Split for a little bit of recovery and some chip. And then he can get Dark Pulse. And then I think he can even get Protect. Right? So you can be or instead of Will-O-Wisp, you can use Toxic. So he can be a very stall-heavy character.
Now, a quick question.
Yeah.
Before you go any further, could you do me a huge favor and go and look up what Cynthia's Spiritomb's moves are?
Yeah, I can do that.
And how viable her build is.
So, I think we in Gen 4 is where Cynthia is known the most.
Yes.
So, I think we will do the Cynthia... This is in Diamond and Pearl. We'll do Platinum Cynthia.
Yeah, Platinum Cynthia.
Right?
Yep.
So, I don't believe it's different. Just their levels are different.
Okay.
So, we'll go... Alright, we'll come all the way down to the rematch. So, Spiritomb, he's kind of... This is a very gimmicky Spiritomb. Dark Pulse and Psychic for coverage. And then Silver Wind or Ominous Wind for the, across-the-board stat boost.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, that's not a very viable strat.
Cool.
I can tell you right now that will... it is a 10% chance that you will proc all of those buffs. And even if it does proc, Spiritomb's stats aren't that crazy high in general. So it'll just give you an extra hit, really. Or maybe it'll give you defensive or offensive, It'll
Perfect.
It'll give you a
Alright,
little bit.
cool. So just not good. Spiritomb.
Yeah.
Her Spiritomb is not great.
Her Spiritomb is not great. It lacks a lot of the utility that Spiritomb can actually run. Where am I here?
Even in Gen 4.
Even in Gen 4.
Right.
Yeah, I'd say in Gen 4 that wasn't as good as it could be. And then you can run Protect here too. Right?
Sure.
Item, I would definitely go with the Leftovers. If I could spell. Definitely would go with the Leftovers. And then he gets a hidden ability Infiltrator. That's not as reliable as Pressure. Infiltrator is in scenarios where somebody's trying to use Substitute, which not many people do in the later generations anymore. Substitute was huge in Gen 4. So, but he didn't get Infiltrator in Gen 4, which is
just Pressure. Yeah.
Just Pressure, right? So what you would basically do with this build right here is you'd come in, you'd like Will-O-Wisp or Toxic someone to either put them on a timer or cripple their attack, which would effectively double your defense, right? And then you'd kind of just whittle them down, Pain Split them, and Dark Pulse them and stall them until they A, died from chip, or B, ran out of PP.
Right.
And then they're done.
You can never run out of PP, dude.
Can never run out of PP. This set is especially better in Gen 4. This is more of a Gen 4 build because like there's gonna be a Sandstorm up like all the time because of Tyranitar.
Yeah.
Or like Hippowdon or something, but there's gonna be a Sandstorm up, so like this is pretty cool if you want to put him on a Sandstorm team. He can heal back any Sandstorm damage with the leftovers, right? On top of the Sandstorm damage the enemy takes, they're also taking your status. And it's pretty annoying. It's pretty annoying.
Cool. What about his EVs?
So yeah, his EVs, you can kind of go about it any which way you want. Don't invest in his speed; it's not worth it.
Does not look like it.
Right? You'd pretty much go up in put it all in his HP, and then you can choose if you can make him a bit more of a mixed tank, and invest in his special defense and bank on the Will-O-Wisp hitting, so you can get you the defense increase. So like, and then I'd give it like a defensive nature. The nature is up to you. You could subtract in speed if you really don't want to lose anything else.
That'd be viable,
right? Or you could subtract in attack because he doesn't have any attack moves. It's up to you. Or you can go like the dedicated physical and have like quite a high. Let's just do any. Where's bold or brave? I should say. Or no, bold. Bold is what I want. So, if you do this one, if Will-O-Wisp hits, he doesn't have that much health, but the gigantic defense that he'll get after Will-O-Wisp hits will make up for it. So he'll be able to come into a lot of physical hits. Like he can come into like a close combat because it won't even hit him.
That's true.
And then any other like physical hit, like if you don't know if anybody else can take it, if they're already burned, you can easily come in. Or if they're already burned, you could easily come into Spiritomb, right? And then you can put the 4. The 4 can go anywhere. If you want a little extra chip on your Dark Pulse, you can put it in the special attack. If you want a little bit more sustain, you can, or not sustain, bulk, you can put it in special defense. But furthermore, we'll go into maybe a bit more modern Spiritomb. Spiritomb has some cool moves. He gets Calm Mind, he gets Curse, Destiny Bond. He can get Nasty Plot. Pursuit trapping is kind of cool, but Spiritomb's not fast enough to do that. You can do Rest on him. He gets Shadow Sneak and Sucker Punch. He's great priority, and he also gets Taunt. So you can do really a lot of things. In Taunt is very, very, very good, no matter what generation you use. It's just unfortunate for Spiritomb that he is so slow. So if you want to taunt somebody with Spiritomb, they're gonna get a setup in first, or a status in first. So be careful with that. But you could actually do some I'm putting this together right now. You can make this guy like a whole Shadow Sneak, Sucker Punch, like a trapper, right? Even though he's slow, just have a bunch of priority, and then Pursuit. So I just mentioned how Pursuit may not be the best thing on Spiritomb, but if you condition people into thinking that you're always gonna attack first, bait the switch and then hit with Pursuit, and then you can really do what you could do Will-O-Wisp, you could do Trick. Actually, that's kind of cool. We'll stick Trick on here, right?
And then give him what? And
then you can give him like an item that probably is Scarf, right? If you give him a Choice Scarf. So this is a bit more gimmicky, but I like gimmicky sets, right? And Spiritomb, I think, is like the gimmick. He is the gimmick. So if you have this is an interesting kind of a lead, or if you don't know who to bring in Spiritomb with this set.
But if you gave the opponent a Scarf.
So here's the thing. I'm glad you mentioned that. You want to bring Spiritomb in on an enemy's Pokemon that does not benefit from a Choice Scarf at all. So a slow Pokemon, slow bulky Pokemon, for example, or a Pokemon that needs a lot of coverage, or a Pokemon that Spiritomb like switches into, or a Pokemon that doesn't hit Spiritomb at all. Spiritomb has a lot of immunities. Spiritomb's immune to Psychic. He's immune to Normal, and he's immune to Fighting. Thank you.
Fighting.
For not. Sorry.
You're welcome for not saying anything. No problem.
I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. So he's immune to those 3 things. So Normal type is not the most common thing in the world, but fighting type attacks are common. So if you can finagle your way into coming into something that Spiritomb is immune to, and then land the trick, they want the objective is to make the opponent want to switch.
And then you use Pursuit.
And then you get the read, and then you use Pursuit. Right. So I kind of like this. I'm liking where this is going. Right. We'll put a whole bunch of stats. Oh my god.
What if you give him an Iron Ball?
So yeah, you can give him an Iron Ball, but the problem is Spiritomb's already going to be kind of faster than anybody with Shadow
Yeah,
Sneak
but
and Sucker
I'm
Punch.
saying, what if you use them as like a lead, and then, even if they switch, they'll still have the Iron Ball, and you can outspeed them still.
Yeah, you can. So I guess if you're like running Pokemon that maybe could benefit from that. My problem with that is it's not as much of a cripple as the Scarf. Because if you Scarf somebody who does not need to be fast but wants to use their whole move pool, I personally find that's a better cripple than somebody just being slow.
Like Skarmory or Slowking, shit like that.
Like if you give the Scarf to Skarmory, for example, he's kind of screwed,
You can't really do anything.
But then again, you're not going to be able to capitalize on specifically scarfing Skarmory because you're not going to be able to hit him very hard.
Well, not with Spiritomb, but somebody
right.
else.
That's exactly right. That's the thing here. You want to come in, you want to shake things up with Spiritomb. Maybe catch a Pursuit, but then you want to switch out to somebody else. So
right.
Spiritomb has a lot of other utility that I can go into.
So this one you would build attack.
Yeah, I would build attack here.
Okay.
So, but for the sake of time, guys, I'll leave you two with these 2 builds coming from me with no credibility. So, I highly recommend you check it out. Spiritomb is a versatile Pokemon. And in the right hands, definitely viable. He has a lot of, trickety tricks up his sleeve that can really mess with the opponent. He has a lot of setup. He has a lot of stuff. Check him out. He's pretty cool. For the rest of the EVs, it's really up to you. You could put it into speed to see if you can, to try and trap people as much as possible with Pursuit.
And Scarf. With
the
Scarf, so
and
you can make sure to move first.
That is true. So yeah, the speed would be ideal here. Or if you want, you can go into the HP. That's up to you. That's the beauty of Pokemon. It's all up to you. And then I think safe bet, putting the 4 into special defense. So screenshot, booyah, there you go.
What's next, my man?
So what's next? So Spiritomb's good. So who does Cynthia have next? All right, we'll do Roserade. Roserade is a much better Pokemon than Spiritomb. Roserade has a lot across the generations. Has a lot of, has a good amount of use, no matter what generation you're in. It doesn't matter what the meta is. Roserade is a neat little pocket pick. Ability Natural Cure. This Pokemon has its major status condition cured when it switches out. So this is really pretty cool ability. It's very difficult to cripple Roserade. The only way that you're going to get rid of it is if you directly hit Roserade. So if you try and Will-O-Wisp it, it's not going to work. You can't Toxic Roserade because
Poison type.
It's a poison type. So Roserade's in to stay if you're not going to hit it. Also has Poison Point, not as good an ability. 30% chance to poison an enemy making contact with you. The reason why this is not so good is because contact moves are usually physical, and as you can see, Roserade is not a very physically defensive Pokemon. So, sure, you can proc the Poison Point, but you're probably going to die in the process.
So what moves does Cynthia use on Roserade?
So,
and how good do you think? Let's see, Energy Ball.
Energy Ball, Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball, and Extrasensory. So, this is not bad. Roserade has a nice special attack stat, and using it as kind of like just an all-out attacker is more than viable. Energy Ball is a very safe form of stab. It does get Leaf Storm, but on the you'll get the special attack drop. So
Right.
this is an alternative stab move, which is great. Sludge Bomb, more stab, great. Chance to poison, cool. Shadow Ball and Extrasensory for coverage. So I'm not going to check it, but I believe this would hit a very large portion of Pokemon.
Right.
At least, especially in the meta. Probably. Doesn't look like you can hit Steel types very well, though. At least in this generation.
Yep.
But that's besides the fact. Steel types are kind of whack. I like it, but I don't think it uses Roserade to its maximum capacity.
So what do you think would be
So-
its maximum capacity?
It definitely should run Spikes. If a Pokemon, or Toxic Spikes, that's up to you. Spikes/Toxic Spikes. I'll just put T-Spikes. Yeah, you can run, I recommend running Spikes. I recommend, or Toxic Spikes, because the utility is, it's great. You could always use an entry hazard. Nothing wrong with having an entry hazard. So, like, say you send in Roserade, and, you know, if you don't know if they're going to switch or not, you know you can take a hit. You need an option select. You need something that, no matter what the opponent does, it will benefit you. Spikes is the way to go, you know?
Unless you die in one hit.
Yeah, unless you die in one hit. Like, if you know you can't die, or, like, you know you can take a hit really well, but you also don't know if they want to switch or not, hit them with a Spikes. Nothing wrong with that. I'm going to put Leaf Storm on. Leaf Storm, its high base power, combined with Roserade's naturally high special attack, will chunk an enemy. And especially if it's a super effective hit, you almost guaranteed will get the 2-hit KO. Regardless of the special attack drop, that doesn't matter, you know? Because as long as you do more than 50% damage to the enemy with Leaf Storm, and they don't have leftovers, the next hit will still kill, even if your special attack's hacked. But if you're not into it, you could also go for the Energy Ball, right?
Right.
Next up, you can the next couple slots are up to you. Roserade, it could be a decent cleric with aromatherapy. Aromatherapy cures the party of all status. So Roserade can't get status, so you can come in no matter what, take a special hit, and get the aromatherapy off. Roserade could be quite annoying with Leech Seed. Also combined, you could also run Giga Drain. I will put. It's gonna be hard to see, but you can also you can run Giga Drain too. Leech Seed is another good option. My issue with Leech Seed, it doesn't matter if you have the Leech Seed up or not. Like, the sustain you get from a Leech Seed isn't going to be enough to take a physical hit, so you have to be careful with who you Leech Seed. Here's a cool one, right? Sleep Powder, like any of the powder moves, Sleep Powder, Stun Spore, not a bad option to run on Roserade. More status and utility. I would recommend you can put the Sleep Powder on. However, if you're going to run with Spiritomb, just keep in mind, you know, if you have this build of Spiritomb, just keep in mind that you may not, you have to keep, too much status can sometimes ruin your synergy. If it's a Pokemon that you really need to be toxic, and they're asleep or they're paralyzed, that's a problem. Because you can only have one status. And then you could also, it gets Synthesis, which is also pretty cool. It gets Protect, you could Stall. Roserade, it's pretty cool. Roserade gets freaking Swords Dance, dude, yeah.
Well, Swords Dance just makes your attack double, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, for Pokemon, you know, with a lot of different things that it can do, it even gets Swords Dance. Like, it's not even helpful, but it still gets it.
How much power does Leaf Storm have?
130.
Jesus.
Yeah, Leaf Storm has 130.
Oh, it does. Look at that. I was going to say...
140 in Generation 5 and below, I think. Or 4 and below.
Gotcha, okay. I was going to say Petal Blizzard, but it's a physical. I didn't notice
Yeah,
that. Okay.
you could do Power Whip if it's in the newer generation, like Gen 7. You could run Swords Dance Power Whip Roserade. That's a cool meme. Also, you can keep in mind Grass Knot. Grass Knot's very useful if you're using in like the earlier generations, because a lot of Pokemon that are very super effective against Grass Knot are also really heavy. But safe bet, I'm gonna stick Sludge Bomb on there, because just more coverage. So Spikes will run, or Toxic Spikes, Leaf Storm, or Energy Ball, or Giga Drain. I think Sludge Bomb is kind of a staple. Sludge Bomb is great. Great stab, just in case you don't want to go for the special attack drop. And then, the rest is up to you. You can run the Toxic. You could run the other status. You could run the Synthesis. You could run Substitute. I'm going to say for an item, best bet is probably going to be the Leftovers, or what I like to do, the Black Sludge. Black Sludge functions the exact same as Leftovers, except if you're not a poison type, it'll do the opposite. So it only works like Leftovers on poison types. So just in case somebody's going to try and steal your item, they're going to get a Black Sludge, and it's going to hurt them over time instead of heal them over time.
Cool.
And then for the stats, so you can do a handful of things. If you're using Roserade as more of a status spreader, Leech Seed, and entry hazard setting, I'd recommend going into the special defense and the HP. If you're using her similar to Cynthia does, and you just want to attack, you can totally get away, especially with a base 90 speed. That's a decent speed bracket. You can totally get away with the special attack and the speed, put the nature into speed, and then stick a life orb on or a choice specs or something. Also very viable. Also, if you're doing a little mix of both, we've got, for example, Leaf Storm on and Sludge Bomb with spikes and then one status move. You can also get away with doing the bulky special attacker, 252 in the HP and the rest in special attack with the special attack boosting nature. Probably Careful. Careful is probably the best one. I meant Modest, bro. See, I'm not a credible source. Modest is what you want.
All right, cool.
And then you can put like 4 in the special defense. You can still take a hit, like a hit, and then come back in with a gigantic Leaf Storm, and then heal up with a Black Sludge or any other item of your choice. Roserade's got some options with Roserade. Next, Togekiss. Oh my god, Togekiss is really good. Let me check what Togekiss's build is here. So in Gen 4, Cynthia has Togekiss with Hustle, no held item, Air Slash, Aura Sphere, Water Pulse, and Psychic. So this is another all-out attacker.
Coverage,
right? These are all very good moves to run on a Togekiss if that's your goal. Ability Hustle is interesting. So let's get Togekiss out here. So what Hustle does is the Pokemon's attack is 1.5 and accuracy of its physical attacks is 0.8.
So, but its attack doesn't seem to be very good.
So that ability is not very optimal on Togekiss, especially in Cynthia's case where Cynthia has no physical attacks. So Cynthia almost doesn't have an ability here.
Air Slash isn't
no, Air Slash is not physical. They're all special.
Maybe it only had Hustle in Gen 4, or did it have everything else?
It also had Serene Grace in Gen 4 as well. But I think that might be a little too OP for Cynthia to have a Serene Grace Togekiss. I'm gonna tell you right now, Serene Grace Togekiss is the way to go. Don't even pay attention to the other abilities. Super Luck's cool if you want crits, I guess, but Togekiss doesn't have too many attacks that actually crit. The flinch, the para-flinch is what you want with Togekiss.
Oh my god, Nick did that against me.
Yeah, I showed Nick that.
You mother...
I think a long time ago I showed that to Nick.
But then he missed it once, and I killed him in one hit. He was like, "Where's the flinch? What?"
Yeah, it is a big chance to flinch.
That's messed up.
And if you don't flinch, you're getting like it's crazy. You're getting flinched, and if you're not getting flinched, you're getting paralyzed. And if you're not getting paralyzed, then you'll get the hit in.
Yes.
And I will explain to you guys too that even if you do get that hit in, it's still not going to kill Togekiss. Togekiss is bulky.
I also want to point out it's Fairy and Flying in this gen.
Thank you for reminding me.
In Gen 4, I think it was normal and Flying.
So yes, that's not going to change the build at all. I'm not going to give Togekiss really a Fairy type coverage. And if I do, I'll also add in that its coverage is coverage. So if you want the normal stab, you can get that instead.
Technically, I guess like the Togekiss would be coverage for. I guess for Garchomp because he's Dragon type. So,
Sure.
Like, for some reason, if Garchomp can't do the job,
yeah, that's true. If you have a Garchomp and like you have like a Scarf you're going up against like a Scarf Dragon type who's locked into a Dragon type move, and you don't want to bring in Garchomp, bring in Togekiss, you know?
Right. Cool. All right. Well, I just wanted to point that out real quick. I just noticed that.
Yeah, good eye. I didn't think to talk about that. So I'll kick us off here. We are going to take a page out of Cynthia's book and stick Air Slash. Air Slash is going to be your primary form of attacking. Not the highest base power and not the best accuracy, but the key here is the 30% chance to flinch.
And with Serene Grace,
and we're going to put on
60,
Serene
right?
Grace. Yeah. The Pokemon's move that have secondary effects, chances are doubled.
60% chance to flinch.
So, yeah, therefore you have a 60% chance to flinch. On top of that, we're going to give her, or it, I guess, Thunder Wave. And that's kind of it. You can do whatever else you want. You'll come in, and I'll give her give it the leftovers.
But it's slow, I guess, right?
It's slow now.
What are we going to do?
So you come in, you take a hit, land the Thunder Wave.
Oh.
So their speed is halved, and you are faster. And as you flinch them to death, and you get free turns, you're also healing leftovers over time. So leftovers heals a 12th of your HP. So if you think about it, takes you 12 turns to heal up all the way. So if you're getting flinches 3 turns in a row, that's 3 leftovers. So that's that much health you get back, you know? So you can heal up very quickly with Togekiss if you're just constantly spamming Air Slash after you hit them with Thunder Wave.
Well, let's say every Pokemon you go against is faster than you. You're still going to take a hit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But it's still not bad, I guess. That's a good strat. Okay.
It's Togekiss is a good late game sweeper. Because even if anything, it's even better to come in against a Pokemon who doesn't hit Togekiss super effectively, but resists Air Slash. So you can stall with Air Slash and paralyze them, get the flinch going, heal all the way up with leftovers, and then rinse and repeat the next Pokemon that they send in after you inevitably kill.
Cool.
I'm going to put on right now, Togekiss is kind of cool because it gets Defog. Defog is helpful in the later generations and sometimes the newer generations. The older generations. Because, Stealth Rock, Spikes, Sticky Web.
It's like Rapid Spin.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's Rapid Spin. Except you don't hit them and you actually clear both sides. So keep in mind,
you clear both.
You clear both sides. Still very, very viable though.
Okay. The first two though, Spiritomb, I guess if we're going with the defensive Spiritomb, it's got the Will-O-Wisp Toxic, and the Roserade got Spikes. If you hit them with that, let's say you use Spikes with Roserade or Toxic Spikes, Defog's gonna clear that away, right?
Yeah, if you Spikes with Roserade, Defog's gonna clear that away. That's true.
Okay.
Even that, it's okay though, because you can always just put it right back up.
Or like you said, Togekiss is a late game. So if you're using it that way,
yeah,
that's a good point. Okay, cool. Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, no problem. Usually, you would find a way to knock out their hazard setter by constantly defogging them, wasting their turns, and then whittling them away because they're usually tanky. And then once they're out of the picture, you don't even have to worry about defog because then your Roserade can come in and get the secured spikes that last forever.
Right.
And even if you set up spikes with Roserade, for example, and it only lasts 2 turns, because you're going to defog soon anyway, because they just set up Stealth Rocks.
Right.
People still have to switch in and out of it. It's still chip.
True.
It's still there.
Cool.
Yeah. So, like I said, you can do really whatever you want. Defog is good on Togekiss. You can do the Dazzling Gleam coverage, or, Aura Sphere. It also does it get Hyper Voice? Yes, so you can run the Hyper Voice if you're playing back when Togekiss is still a normal type. For that, I forgot. It gets Nasty Plot. Okay. Yeah, so Togekiss, yeah, you can play the Togekiss in a bit of an alternative way. Still relying on the Air Slash Thunder Wave combo, but send Togekiss in on a Pokemon that it can set up on, and then when they try and switch out, you use them. It's called setup fodder, right? They're giving you a free turn turn for you to get a guaranteed setup. So you set up the Nasty Plot. Whoever they switch back into takes your Thunder Wave, and then you Air Slash them to death with a very, very damaging Air Slash. So if it's not one hit Kang, if it's not one hit knocking you out, it's guaranteed to 2-hit knock you out because it's still going to flinch you and you can do it again. So that's really cool. I recommend using Nasty Plot on Togekiss. Even if you can't set up the Nasty Plot, you can still
Air Slash Thunder Wave,
combo.
combo.
You can get away with murder with this. This is
cool.
This is a very good strategy. Very good strat.
Awesome. What about EVs?
So EVs, generally what you can do, you can go into the HP and the special attack, right?
Yeah.
So you can take the hit and land the Thunder Wave, or alternatively, if you just want to come in and hit Thunder Wave first, you're more than welcome to invest into speed. It's not going to outspeed everything though. With 80 base speed, even with a speed nature, we want timid, right? 284 speed. That's not very high.
I think that's less than Roserade.
What you can do alternatively though is run the Choice Scarf, and let me put this back on Modest real quick.
There is a problem with that, isn't there? Because isn't the whole point to like flip-flop between moves?
So here's the thing, right? We're gonna load up another Togekiss set. If you just want to come in, you can give it the Scarf. I can spell, I swear. Give it the Choice Scarf, and then Serene Grace. We're gonna drop the Thunder Wave and just rely solely on Air Slash.
Right.
This is not as well. So there's some pros and cons to this. Air Slash still has a 60% chance to flinch. If that doesn't seem like a lot to you, in practice, it is frustratingly consistent. A 60% chance to hit something in Pokemon might as well be unfair. Yeah, and then you could just go coverage after that. But you would really want... So if you just want to come in and flinch people to death, you can still do that. You can give it the Scarf, come in, Air Slash, and you will be surprised by how many people you still flinch to death. And you're faster than them. Because base 80 speed, Scarfed, 250, so say about 250, that's, what is that, 375 speed with the Choice Scarf, uninvested. Or not uninvested, without a nature. No speed nature, 375 speed, and Gen 7 is almost the entire metagame on Choice Scarfed. There are some Pokemon that will outspeed you, but you could always opt into going for the timid nature, which I recommend. The max 284 speed, whatever that is times 1.5, it's over 400 base speed. There are very few Pokemon in Gen 7 that will have that high of a speed. And it's even more rare in prior generations. And then you'd put the rest into special attack. So you're not going for the one-hit KO. You're banking on the flinch and going for the 2-hit KO with this build. You're going to outspeed him. Excuse me. I'm like dying over here. You're going to outspeed him. Hit him with an Air Slash. Get that 60% chance to flinch and do it again. Until they are dead. And they won't be able to get a hit in because you are faster than them. And then you hopefully flinch them to death. Togekiss is very good. Togekiss also has some other cool utility. Togekiss has Heal Bell. It can, like I said, it can set up. It can do. Togekiss has a very large move pool. So if you don't want to do the Air Slash strat, it has all kinds of really good stuff that you can really throw together and it'll still work. Tailwind is really cool. Trick, Wish, Yawn. It's a good cleric, like I said. It gets Roost. Roost is also really good. You can stick Roost on instead of Defog for this bulky set. Yeah, Togekiss is good. Moving on.
So what's next? Lucario.
Lucario, cool. Lucario is an all-out attacker. Aura Sphere, Dragon Pulse, Psychic, and Earthquake. Yeah, I totally dig this. Mixed attacking Lucario is that's how you play him.
He has Psychic.
Yeah, he gets a lot of stuff.
It's funny that it seems like she's going for a special attack Lucario, but has Earthquake as well.
So, if you notice, Cynthia is like a special attack specialist.
Yeah, look, shut up. But yeah, it looks that way.
Really, her only physical Pokemon is Garchomp?
Yep. Yeah, wow. Jesus. Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, my opinions on this Lucario set, with the right item and the right speed or EV investments, this could totally work. You're just lacking the Steel-type coverage, which actually hits a lot of Pokemon well. Especially in the newer generations, you want Steel or Poison-type coverage for those pesky Fairy types. In this case specifically, if you're running this in Gen 7, you may want that for Garchomp. So you will have Roserade and sort of Lucario to deal with Fairies for you. Because Poison hits Fairies super effectively, and so does Steel. Only issue is Lucario is frail, so if you come in and take a Fairy type with Lucario, it'll hit neutral, and it can do a nice chunk of health to you. So you got to be sure that you can knock out a Fairy type if you're switching into it with Lucario.
I just want to say something. Look at this. Before Stark Mountain, they actually have... I didn't notice they had different moves.
Do they actually?
Water, Shockwave.
Yeah.
Shadow Ball.
Extreme Speed,
Stone Edge. Brick Break, Flamethrower, Dragon Pulse, Aqua Ring. Yeah, that's weird.
Interesting.
I don't think it makes that big of a difference.
I don't either.
I think it's okay. I think this is okay.
Yeah.
It's actually better.
We can still use this as a benchmark.
It's the better team, technically.
Technically, right?
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Nice.
Let's get into Lucario here. So I'm gonna go right into a brand new team here because there are a lot of ways to run Lucario. You can run him physical, you can run him special, you can run him mixed. So I want to have 3 Lucarios. The viewers can see side by side by side. Cool. And not have to scrub too far back and forth.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's start right first and foremost. Lucario also has a Mega Evolution.
That's
Did you want to go into that?
I don't think so. I want to stay because then we would be getting into Mega Garchomp too.
Sure.
And I think just sticking with regular Lucario.
All right, let's stick with it then. Yeah, you're really only going to run Lucario like all out attacking. We'll do the magical the
special attack.
The special set first. Aura Sphere, primary form of stab, and it cannot miss, which is pretty nice. Decent base power too, which is good. It also gets Flash Cannon. Same thing. Aura Sphere, Flash Cannon. Now, it's a matter of coverage. What are you trying to accomplish with Lucario? Are you trying to keep it alive as much as you can, or are you just trying to get as much super effective hits as you can? That one's up to you. You can run the Shadow Ball, you can run the Psychic, depending on what you want to check. You can run the Dark Pulse and the Dragon Pulse. So, I guess Dark hits a lot of things super effectively. So we'll stick the Dark Pulse on there. And then, just in case we come across a Dragon type, stick Dragon Pulse. I don't see anything wrong with this set of moves here. You can swap a lot of them around. Lucario has a decent move pool. Where Lucario is a bit lackluster is his speed. 90 base speed, that's on par with Roserade. So we will invest into Lucario's speed, and we will also give this build the timid nature so we can be as fast as possible and chunk. 306 speed will land you a lot of first hits. Put the rest into the special attack, and then 4 can go wherever, whether it be defense or special defense. We'll put it in special defense for now. Item, we're going to go right into the Life Orb. So, because we had to take away investments from special attack into speed, Life Orb can help us make up for that a little bit. Alternatively, you could also run just the choice specs. Like I said, making up for the fact that we couldn't put much into special attack. There you go. The only thing is you're just going to hit really hard with one move instead of hitting decently hard with many. So that's the special Lucario. Choice specs / I'll put Orb here. I would put Justified on if you have the hidden ability available in Gen 4 and prior. He does not get Justified at all. Justified is good. Actually,
What does Cynthia use?
I think Cynthia used Steadfast.
Did she use Steadfast? She did. Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. I'm actually going to cancel what I was about to say. I was going to say put on the Justified because you get the stat boost in case you get hit by a knockoff. Or any other dark type.
Right.
Which is a common type. Which he resists as the fighting type.
Yeah.
However, that's not as good synergy with the special build. So, you could do Inner Focus or you can do Steadfast. Either or. Not the greatest abilities in the world. Pokemon cannot be made to flinch. Immune to Intimidate. That's not really going to help us that much here.
Because we're not invested into attack.
And then the Steadfast. If this Pokemon flinches, its speed is raised by 1 stage. We'll probably keep the Steadfast on the off chance we do get flinched. We are going to attack first anyway. And hopefully with our Specs or our Orb, we'll be able to retaliate quite well. You could alternatively go for the slower but bulky, but harder hitting special attacker. But keep in mind, you're only going to be... Not minus. So I'm just checking to see like what his on 279 speed. If you're not fully invested, you will get outsped by a lot of things. I will say that right now. Physical, right? If you have the hidden ability unlocked, go for Justified. If not, go for Inner Focus. So you can't get intimidated. But we'll stick on Justified for now.
Physical Lucario.
This all kind of revolves around close combat and priority. He also gets Bullet Punch. He also gets Extreme Speed. Also gets... So you can do either or. You can go for the Earthquake for coverage, or you can go for the Iron Head. So you actually have a harder hitting steel type attack. Item, it's kind of the same thing as the other Lucario. You can go in for the Life Orb. You can do the Choice Band. Or you could even do the Choice Scarf. I didn't mention that in the other Lucario, but you can, if you want to invest more into special attack, or in this case, if you want to invest more into attack, you can always stick on the Choice Scarf so you can get that extra speed boost. So all of this, that's all fine and dandy. I recommend going for 252 in the attack, and then everything else in speed. And I think the Life Orb is still the better choice because Lucario wants to go around and hit things with multiple attacks. Especially the special set. He has a diverse move pool. We'll stick the Jolly Nature on there. And then we'll do speed. Special defense.
Cool.
And then I recommend you do the Life Orb. You can get away with the other scarfs or the other choice items. I wouldn't recommend it. The Life Orb allows Lucario to come in, hit somebody really hard, and then switch out, right? Even kill them. And if he needs to, this set specifically, he can come in, hit someone with a close combat, and then if he doesn't kill, finish him off with his one of 2 priority moves. Yeah, I kind of think the EV spread is absolute. If you want to change up where you put your nature into, that's up to you. Like I said, if you take away from speed into more into attack, you can always opt for the Choice Scarf to make up for that loss.
What about the third?
Yeah, sorry.
Third one. We have special attack. We got regular physical attack.
And then we can do mixed. Lucario can function pretty well as a mixed attacker because he has decent stats. So Lucario could be a pretty cool mixed attacker. He has a lot of physical moves and just as equally a lot of special moves. So if you guys wanted to, what you can do is max out 1 stat, right? Go into the speed and then put 4 into the other. If any of you guys are familiar with how Infernape used to run, Lucario is very similar in a mixed scenario, except not as fast. And then the nature, we are going to increase our speed, but take away from either our defense or our special defense. So let's do Hasty. The thought process here is Lucario is already quite squishy, and especially if he's getting hit by a physical move, it's nearly going to kill him. Even if, like, especially if you have a Life Orb, it'll, like, taking a big physical hit, even super effective, on Lucario, will put you in Life Orb's threshold that it'll kill you. That 10%, if it puts you within 10% HP and you hit somebody with the Life Orb, you're dead anyway.
Dead. Right.
So you can totally, like, cut your losses, forego the defenses anyway, and just go right in, you know, full force into the mix attacking. So what you would basically do is you would put like one gigantic special attack on there, like Focus Blast if you wanted, and then put the rest physical. You're basically combining these two sets into one. So you can take a couple moves from his physical set and then mix it with some from the magical or special, excuse me. I think it would work even better in Lucario's case to do a special attacking base special mixed attacker.
Why is that?
So he has priority moves which are usually physical. Does he get Vacuum Wave? Oh, he does.
He gets Vacuum Wave.
Wow, I totally forgot about that. So in this, okay, let's jump back to special here. He also gets Vacuum Wave. Priority, it's basically Mach Punch but special. So it's also really good. You could do that too, alternatively. But you could put a priority move on, and most of it's like extreme speed, right? So if you want that extreme speed, or you want the bullet punch, you could put that on and then go the rest special. But you don't even need to do that if you have Vacuum Wave. I forgot he has that. But either way, you can have the gigantic close combat and hit somebody that's like weak 4 times to it. Like if you run into Tyranitar, which you will, especially in Gen 4, or just weak to a close combat with like no defensive stat, like a Dark type, any Dark type. Bisharp is another good one. Bisharp will die from a close combat even if it's only like 4 invested.
Wow, cool.
Bisharp is a Steel and Dark type. Ethan, I don't know if you know about Bisharp. He's
but Tyranitar, you think would die from a close combat?
No. It'll just hit him really hard.
Okay, cool. Just gonna say, all right.
No. And then you can go the rest in the special. So we can do like Flash Cannon. And then you can do like Vacuum Wave. So you have the priority.
The special.
Yeah, the special, right, priority. And then you could do any other move of your choice like Dragon Pulse, sure. And then like I said, I think the best thing to do is stick the Life Orb on there. Other things that he gets, it's not much. There's not much versatility left to discuss about Lucario. I think does he get Nasty Plot?
You do.
Okay.
He does get it.
And he also gets Swords Dance. I know that. So you can also do the setup. You can do either the Nasty Plot or the Swords Dance. That's another way that you can make up for the fact that you have to take away from his attacking stat to build up his speed. Is you can also set up with him. Invest all the way into speed. Set up. Hopefully not die trying to set up. And then you can go from there. It's just unfortunate you have to sacrifice a slot. You have to sacrifice a turn. Also frees up your item slot though. So back and forth, you know? Things you can do.
Right.
So that's Lucario. I'll leave that there. Next up, Milotic.
Yep. I love Milotic. Really cool.
So right off the bat, Mirror Coat's interesting. That's another gimmicky move. Surf, Ice Beam, Aqua Ring.
What about the Before Stark Mountain build?
Before Stark Mountain build. So Surf, Ice Beam, Dragon Pulse, Mirror Coat. You can like we've kind of established that Cynthia likes to hit with special attacking moves.
Seems that way.
Milotic's special attack is not great. Milotic is a tank. So what I'm going to walk us through is probably one of the better ways to run Milotic, especially if you want to use this in Gen 4. It'll also work in like the newer generations, but unfortunately Milotic gets outclassed by a lot of other water type tanks. So it may not work as well. But Milotic's ability is cool. It's called Marvel Scale. Competitive and Cute Charm, I don't think are very good competitively viable abilities. I did run I fought against somebody who built a team though, entirely focused around the move Attract, which relies on the opposite gender.
Right.
In that specific case, these abilities would be useful. You know, because it's regarding the different gender of the Pokemon. But we're not going to talk about that right now.
Okay. Marvel Scale.
Marvel Scale is where it's at.
Seems good.
If you're statused, your defense is raised, which is really cool.
It's great.
Because right off the bat, what Milotic is that allows Milotic to turn into a great status absorber. If you know somebody's going to try and toxic you, or you know somebody's going to try and burn you, and you can't risk your physical Lucario getting Will-O-Wisp because he's crippled and he's done.
Right.
Switch right into Milotic and rest and Sleep Talk.
Oh, really? We're going with a Rest Talk?
Rest Talk.
Strat.
With the leftovers. This is kind of cool. I kind of like this one. I've used it before. At least in the past generations. This is viable.
Wait a minute. But if you rest, you're not status anymore, and your defense goes back to normal, right?
Incorrect.
Really? It stays? Your defense stays?
Well, you're asleep, aren't you?
But when you wake up.
Oh, yeah, when you wake up, and then you just go back to bed.
You just go right back to bed.
That's the thing, right?
I just think about
that. You can always keep your ability procced by resting, and then you can still attack while asleep with Sleep Talk. There's just the slight chance that you're going to rest.
Yep.
But that's a 33% chance of happening.
Yeah.
Because of the way Sleep Talk works. There is a 33% chance you will rest again instead of surfing or scalding. Either is very good. In later generations you could surf, older generations you could surf, but Scald is a very good utility for a tanky water type. 30% chance to burn. It's quite good.
Not a bad chance.
And then from here, you can go with a lot of different things. I would recommend an Ice Beam. It's great for those 4-time weak dragons. Dragon Flying or Dragon Ground. They can't take an Ice Beam, even from an uninvested Milotic. And then from there, bro, it's just
HP Central.
It's just HP Central, right?
Nice.
And then we will go with the Calm. This is a fabulous tank. Water types are a great defensive tank, defensive type. They're only weak to 2 things: Grass and Electric, both of which usually hit, both of which usually hit special. So even if it's a super effective attack, you can get away with it in a dire situation. Otherwise, water type resists. Not too sure off the top of my head, but the big ones like resists fire, resists steel. Those are 2 common types that you'll find that water type resists. And 194, you'll have nearly a 300 base defense when you're while statused. So it will be very hard to chunk you. This last point, if while you're asleep you're trying to tick away with damaging abilities, you can make it just a little bit more damaging with the 4 in the special attack, but I recommend putting the last 4 into the defense.
Yeah.
Just so you have that little bit of extra tankiness. Looking at some other moves to use for Milotic, you can run the Protect to stall even more if you're really trying to stall. You can run the Recover, alternatively to Rest and Sleep Talk. It gets Substitute, which that would be kind of cool if you
Recover. But you already have Rest.
Yeah. So you can do either or, right? If you're resting and sleep talking and you accidentally, or not accidentally, but if you sleep talk into a substitute, that's also really cool.
But it also runs Toxic too.
Yep, and you can do Toxic. I originally used, when I would run Milotic, I would do Surfer, Scald, and then Toxic, but that specific team got kind of walled by Dragon types. So that one's up to you. Toxic / Ice Beam.
I think Ice Beam's a good coverage move.
Ice Beam, right? Alternatively, you can do the that one's it's kind of gimmicky, but the gimmick works. It actually works quite well. But if you want to be a bit safer, you can do the Recover. We'll just say Scald right now for what you got to do as damage. And then we can also put the Toxic on, and then also put the Ice Beam, so you have the best of both worlds here. And then the leftovers, right? Furthermore, if you really want to get crazy, Milotic gets Coil and Dragon Dance. So if you're trying to do a heavy setup and like physical sweep with Milotic, it's possible. It gets Facade too. So if you still run Marvel Scale, Facade technically has synergy with that, sort of. Aqua Tail, Iron Head. So it's possible to do a physical Milotic, but we won't get into that too much. That would be for another video. And that's pretty much how you run Milotic.
Cool.
So let me back up here. We'll go into another other team.
I think Garchomp was the last one, right?
I think you're right. Now, folks, I just realized here I kind of built all these Pokemon in Gen 8, not in Gen 7. Anything goes. So there are some moves that are not around. Like Pokemon can't get Pursuit, for example, in Gen 8, but they can in every other generation. So it won't show up in their move list. So
we already said, I believe, to not use these in Gen 8 because I think Spiritomb is illegal because it's not in Gen 8.
You're right. My point is that in case that there is a move that I missed because I wasn't exactly looking at it, a move that is not available in Gen 8 but available in prior generations, I could have missed it because of the format that we were looking at all the moves in. So sorry about that in case I missed something. So we will change the format back to
7.
Yeah, Garchomp. So grand finale, Garchomp is very, very good.
Sandvale, physical, Citrus Berry.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So right off the bat, Sandvale is actually banned. So you cannot use Sandvale online.
What is Sandvale again?
When you're in a sandstorm, your evasiveness is raised by 0.25.
Gotcha.
1.25.
Yep.
So there's basically, if your move has a 100% chance to hit, viewers, if Garchomp is in a sandstorm, all of your moves by default will be 75% accurate.
So good.
That is why it's banned.
Really good.
That is why it's banned.
My God.
So you can't run Garchomp on a sandstorm team if he has Sandvale.
Right.
I'll build him in 1 second. His only other ability is called Rough Skin. And it's a hidden ability. It is a hidden ability.
Really?
So basically, prior to Generation 5, Garchomp didn't have an ability. And he was still in Uber.
He's a pseudo-legendary, isn't he? That's why his stats are higher.
So Garchomp runs Dragon Rush, which I find is an unreliable Dragon-type move.
Yeah, I agree.
Very low accuracy.
Hits like a truck, though.
It does hit like a truck. Cynthia's Garchomp runs Earthquake, which is totally cool. Runs Brick Break for, I suppose, the ice coverage. And then Giga Impact. And I don't think the only Pokemon that I think Giga Impact is good on is Slacking.
Relax. Oh.
No, Slacking.
Why? Because he can, like, sweep?
No, because he has to recharge anyway. So give him Giga Impact.
Wait, does that count?
Yeah.
Wait, so they kind of, like, come together as one turn? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
that's really good.
Yeah, well.
Okay, all right, it's okay.
It's fun because you can come in and you will blow somebody up.
He can already take a hit though. He can take a decent hit.
Yeah, Slacking, he has the stats of a legendary Pokemon.
Yeah.
So like, give him Giga Impact and all attack, and he's also really fast. Doesn't matter if you have to recharge or not. They're gonna die. Who cares? You're already loafing around the next turn anyway. But that's besides the point.
Mm-hmm.
Garchomp, how are we gonna build him? Garchomp has a base. What is it? 102 speed.
Is it really 102?
Yes.
Oh my God.
So he is just a little bit faster than the competition, and his attack is monstrous.
130.
So usually you would run Jolly, give him the item. It's up to you. If you have him Rough Skin, you'd give him the Rocky Helmet. This is for the newer generation.
What does that do?
So if the holder is hit by a contact move, the attacker loses 1/6 of its max HP.
Whoa, wait.
So
that's good.
So
and with rough skin, that'll chip him down.
Yeah, so like, it can work, right?
6. Dude, you realize how much that is?
I do.
Like, leftovers like 1/16 everything. Oh my god. Anyway, sorry. Okay.
It's okay, yeah. Welcome to OU.
That's nuts, dude.
So this is an 8th, and that's a 6th. So if you can do the math, you're losing a good chunk of HP. It's nearly 25% HP. If you hit Garchomp, physically, you're losing 25% HP, right? And then honestly, like the biggest thing that you could do with Garchomp, he gets Swords Dance because why not? Why does he get Swords Dance? So it doesn't even. It was different with Lucario, how we had to worry about where we were investing into. Because his attack is not as crazy high as it could be. Garchomp, that doesn't matter. We can totally afford to go right into the speed with everything because of the reward we get from that. And also this huge attack cushion we get. His attack is already pretty high. 328 attack, uninvested. A lot of Pokemon don't have that luxury. Uninvested with an ability, I should say. And then plus the Swords Dance, you're at like 600 and what is that? 650 attack. That's pretty darn cool.
You could, but I mean, Poliwrath with his belly drum strat is like over 1,000 attack.
That anybody with a belly drum is over 1,000. But if you can't outspeed, you're getting killed anyway. That's the speed is key when you're trying to sweep. So yeah, he gets Swords Dance. Swords Dance is great on Garchomp. Take my word for it. I promise it won't fail you. If you're a semi-decent player and know when to set up. Swords Dance is great. And then on top of that, you can do the Earthquake, the Dragon Claw, or the Outrage. If you're feeling frisky, and if you really think you're gonna sweep, Outrage would be better. Because there's way more damage than Dragon Claw. And Outrage locks you into it. But that doesn't matter if they don't have anything that can't take it out. Like if they're, if there's nobody that can take it, there's nobody that can take it. It doesn't matter that you're locked into it. You're winning the game.
Yep.
And then for coverage, you can do multiple things. You can do the Stone Edge, like Cynthia. If you want, you can do the Brick Break. I wouldn't recommend that very much though. You could do, I guess, Fire Fang, sure. Or you could, I guess, run Flamethrower like Cynthia. Also not a great idea.
I mean, that's special, right? So
it is.
You want Fire Fang.
If anything. But Fire Fang is such low base power. It's like not worth it.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you can run the Stealth Rocks.
Oh, interesting.
Garchomp can be a pretty cool Stealth Rock setter. Because it's kind of up in the air how Garchomp is going to run.
Right. So they're probably going to switch, depending.
Right? Like, you never know. Just in case there's a turn, like I said with Roserade. If you don't really know what they're going to do, but you know you're safe either way, you can either Swords Dance or Stealth Rock, right?
Yep.
But usually you would run the Stealth Rock on a bit of a bulkier set. Usually not the same set that would run Swords Dance, but it'll still work. If you are in a previous generation that does not have Rocky Helmet or Rough Skin, unfortunately you'll have to go with the Sand Veil and forego an ability because it's banned. But then you can just stick the Life Orb on Garchomp and be like a super great late game sweeper. Get a Swords Dance up, Life Orb boosted anything. With Swords Dance it'll hurt. Yeah, so Garchomp is good. That's why he was Uber in Gen 4, because no other Pokemon had this. This guy's a stud.
I mean, look at him. Damn.
So I guess to wrap up the team.
Right. So let's.
Spiritomb is great utility, and adds a lot of guessing to the enemy, and he's really fun to play. There's so many ways that you can play him. Roserade is also very good utility. Brings the spikes, and hits hard with either Leaf Storm or Sludge Bomb or any other coverage you want to bring. Can also spread status quite well for the team. Togekiss is, I think, your last resort. Back pocket, come in and kind of cheat the win. As long as you can get rid of things that outspeed Togekiss or hit Togekiss super effectively, which you can do effectively with Garchomp. May I add, Togekiss can steal you a win very easily. top of that, Lucario is a very solid revenge killer. If by any chance one of your Pokemon dies and you don't know who to switch back into, you can bring in Lucario, and most Pokemon that come in against Lucario will take a decent hit, as long as they don't resist him too hard. Milotic is a really reliable tank. If you need to absorb a Toxic or a Will-O-Wisp, Milotic is the person to go, the Pokemon to go into, and it can chip away the enemy quite well with its decent attacking Surf or Ice Beam. And then last but not least is Garchomp. If you can set up and sweep with Garchomp, you kind of are. He's your win condition. Garchomp is your win condition. If you can set up properly with him and outspeed the rest of the game, it's kind of the rest is history. And just in case Garchomp does not get set up or gets shut down really early, you have the rest of this team to support him. So especially if you're running this in Gen 4, and you want to ensure that Garchomp gets set up, because this is technically an Uber's team because of Garchomp. So status from Spiritomb, spikes from Roserade, flinches from Togekiss, and status absorption from Milotic, and chip basically from Lucario can help Garchomp get online and take out the rest of the opposing team. That is my Cynthia analysis.
Okay, now, last but not least.
Yeah.
All right, so, on a scale from 1 to 10, in your opinion, 10 being like an Uber team
crazy
that destroys everything, you know what I mean, top tier, and 1 being, I don't know, a team of all freaking Rattatas, all right? What would, in your opinion, where would this team be in Gen 7?
In Gen 7,
which is the latest it can be, obviously.
Okay, so I'll answer your question, but then I'll also give another answer. In Gen 7 specifically, I have to admit this team is not very good. There are a lot of better options, a lot of better grass types that can do Roserade's job way better. Garchomp is great. That is like the saving grace of this team in Gen 7. A lot of other much tankier water types and much more water types that bring a lot more utility than Milotic. A lot of better just overall attackers than Lucario. I can't say that this is a very good team in Gen 7. A team in general, though, so if you guys were playing the games, for example, and you wanted a very solid team to steamroll a game through, you can get away with this. If you just want to go online in a random gen and do well, you can do well with this team. Pokemon, it doesn't really matter what Pokemon you bring to an extent if you can outread your opponent. It's all about the reads. As long as you have Pokemon that can take the hit and dish it back, you should be good. In general, Pokemon, competitive, across the board, generation-wise, I'd give this team a very medium 5 out of 10. I think Togekiss is a great Pokemon. I think Lucario is a decent Pokemon. And I think Garchomp is a fantastic Pokemon. So,
why do you think Cynthia was such a formidable opponent in the games? Is it because of how high level they were, like 76, 78?
Yeah, definitely. Cynthia was formidable because of the balance of this team. This team, if there's anything that this team has, it's balance.
Is it balanced? I mean, there's like 5 special attackers. Really?
Type-wise. That's a good point. If you can bring in, if you have a special wall, sure. I guess it won't hit you as hard, but she also carries the Garchomp.
Right.
I meant, like, this team can, like, it checks each other's counters, right? Like ice types. Lucario can take care of ice types. Togekiss can also take care of ice types because it has Aura Sphere on Cynthia's team. Spiritomb has no weakness and 3 immunities in Gen 4. So it can come in and, absorb something well, I suppose.
Right.
Milotic can take a fire type attack for Roserade. So and Lucario. And so can Garchomp. So there's a lot of synergy within the typing of this team.
I guess that's why they did that.
If you look at like other champs teams, Wallace, for example, he has a hefty amount of steel types.
So you mean Steven?
Steven. Wallace is water, right?
Yeah.
Lance is all dragons, mostly dragons.
Mostly. He's got Gyarados, Aerodactyl, and Charizard, I believe, right?
Even still, those three are still like, there's a common weakness that those three share is like electric.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Gary, I suppose you could say, is balanced, but I'm not too familiar with Gary's team. That's an episode for another time. But I feel Cynthia's team is so formidable because of how high their levels are, how offensive these Pokemon can be, and the synergy that they have with checking each other's counters.
Cool. All right. I guess that's it, man.
Yeah, that seems like it's it. Thank you from me for watching this. I love talking about Pokemon, and I'm always trying to learn more. So, for those of you who are watching this and have any comments or reasons why you would run something else or just any other Pokemon related things, put it in the comments and we'll check it out. Pokemon is great because of how the variety of things that you can do.
Yeah, great. Thanks all for watching, and thank you, Antoine, for being here.
You're
Sorry
welcome.
about that.
That's okay.
Cool. All right. I'll see you guys next time. We're definitely gonna do this again.
Definitely. See you next time.
See ya.